To win your rookie drafts, you're going to have to find value in the mid and late rounds. I've watched 27 running backs in this class, and there are 5 running backs who you can draft in the third round or later that are legitimate pass catching threats with some big time PPR upside. Digging into the depths of this running back class, one guy who stands out to me is Memphis running back Blake Watson. Blake Watson is a former wide receiver converted to running back, and his pass catching skill set is evident while watching his tape. Now, Blake Watson did not earn an invite to the combine, but that doesn't mean he's going to go undrafted. I expect him to be a day 3 prospect, and I think he's going to be one with some very legitimate upside. Now, if we're looking at Blake Watson's stats here, we're going to see he has over 100 career receptions. And in 2023 in particular, he hauled in 53 passes for 480 receiving yards. And look at that number, folks, 9.1 yards per reception. And over the course of his career at Memphis, he has 6 career receiving touchdowns. I think Blake Watson proved in 2023 he can legitimately contribute to a passing game out of the backfield. And if he can fit into a complementary role, I think it's realistic to project about 40 targets for him through the air as a rookie, even if he goes day 3. Let's talk a little bit more about the film because Blake Watson really is an exciting guy to watch. Watson is explosive through his cuts. He's comfortable working in traffic, either on the ground or through the air. He's a physical running back for his size, and he's got sticky hands. He is a really reliable target, not just not just in the flat, but through the short field, through the midfield. Watson's got some versatility. He can line up in the backfield. He can line up split in. He can line up out wide. After the catch, he's elusive in space. He's got a mean sidestep, and the lateral agility is clear for Blake Watson. Now, this is a running back who, quite frankly, is probably not even going to go in the first 4 rounds of a Superflex rookie draft. I do think with a juicy landing spot, he could end up maybe a mid-4th round selection. And if I have that full PPR format, I'm absolutely going to be targeting Blake Watson as a high upside selection. Moving on is somebody who may go a little bit earlier in your rookie drafts. He's starting to gain a little bit of steam. He's starting to gain a little bit of momentum here, and that is Tyrone Tracy Jr., the running back out of Purdue. Now, before he transferred to Purdue, Tyrone Tracy was actually a wide receiver at Iowa, and he's had a decent stint in college. So if you're an early breakout fan, maybe Tyrone Tracy isn't your guy, but it's clear that he can be effective both on the ground and through the air. And that versatility makes him a really attractive NFL draft prospect. Tyrone Tracy has 113 career receptions. He's got 19 receptions this past season for 132 yards. So that 2023 season, I think it's helping him fly a little bit under the radar, but this is an example of you have to watch the tape and you have to, look at the examples of when he was targeted, and you could see a really efficient, effective player. And if you go back to 2019, I mentioned he's been in college for a couple years, but if you go back to 2019, 36 receptions in 589 receiving yards. Again, he was playing the wide receiver position at that point in time. Now, when it comes to Tracy, what makes it so exciting for me is although I do think that he can have a legitimate projection of, somewhere between 35 and 45 targets as a rookie running back, which is, folks, a significant number to put into a projections. I also think in the right situation, he can absolutely get legitimate volume on the ground. When you look at his tape profile here, you're going to see a shifty runner. You're going to see somebody with really quick feet. I love the way that he anticipates space and he hits a gap hard. He sees opening and he commits to it. That's both on the ground and with the ball in his hands after the catch. Now, we talked about those hands, evident there that he has reliable hands, some wide receiver hands, like I mentioned. I also like with Tyrone Tracy that he's effective turning upfield after the catch. So I think you have a really versatile running back here with Tracy out of Purdue. Like I mentioned, I do think he's a little bit more well-known of a name. I imagine Tyrone Tracy will be a late third, early fourth round pick in a lot of super flex rookie drafts. In one quarterback drafts, he may, even be more of a solidified mid third round ADP. I wouldn't be shocked if he sees round 4 draft capital, which should bump up his popularity a little bit. But you're watching this video, so you'll be ahead of your league mates. One of the best ways to stay ahead of your league mates and win your rookie drafts this season is to head on over to patreon.com/rookiebigboard. I've completed 79 total film evaluations on this rookie class, and you can read those full film reviews on all of these guys, along with my in-depth rookie, Devy, and Dynasty rankings. Even more helpful, though, is our super active Discord where you can get personalized advice. And everybody who is a Rookie Big Board patron will have access to the 2024 Rookie Guide updated the Sunday after the NFL Draft, including 2024 seasonal projections for every rookie that is on an NFL roster. Folks, it's in-depth, actionable advice. All of that's available for just $5. I'm telling you, it's the best investment out there. Personalized insight, proven track record here of putting out good advice here at the Rookie Big Board. So head on over to patreon.com/rookiebigboard. It wouldn't be proper to have a PPR threats episode and not talk about Will Shipley, the running back out of Clemson. Now, Shipley is a well-known name in the Devy community. He's been fluctuating towards the top of Devy rankings for a few years now, but he's landed in a relatively lower spot than we initially expected. If you went back 2 years from now, I would have told you that Will Shipley would have been a fringe round 1, round 2 rookie pick. Right now, I think he's more of a mid to late third round rookie pick, but definitely still one worth investing in. Like I said, especially if you're looking for that PPR upside. Now, Will Shipley's tape, I think, is a little bit more telling than his box score, but let's look at the numbers here for the Clemson running back. Over his career, which was just 3 seasons, so Shipley, just a 3-year college player, 85 receptions. This past season, he had 31 in the Clemson offense. What I like to point out here is the consistency of Will Shipley. He had 10 games for Clemson with at least 2 receptions, and that may not sound super significant, but when I'm doing my rookie value, a big piece of it is how they actually fit into my spreadsheet, how they actually fit into my projections. And even 3 receptions a game, that really adds up. There's 17 games, right? You can get to that 40 mark. That's a nice reception number. So even 2 receptions a game, that consistency, it really helps in terms of the projection. Here's what's really nice about Will Shipley: 7.9 yards per reception. And if you look at where Will Shipley's getting the ball, he is actually getting the ball close to the line of scrimmage a lot. So he's doing a lot with the ball in his hands after the catch. And I like to point out here, you go back to 2022, the offense really ran through Will Shipley. This was the year DJ used last year at Clemson. They struggled to throw the ball, and it went through Will Shipley on the ground, but also through the air. He was 4th on the team in receptions, despite rushing for over 1,000 yards that season as well. When you're watching the tape with Will Shipley here, what you're going to find is a player that is really comfortable on the ground as well as through the air. Shipley catches everything that's thrown on target. Quite frankly, he catches balls thrown behind him as well. He displays good ball tracking ability. In the short field, he is a good route runner. He can gain separation off the line of scrimmage. He does have a decent release. So you can target him in the short field. You can have him run drag routes, curl routes. You can have him cut a slant, that wheel route out of the backfield. You have some versatility here with how you want to use Shipley in an NFL offense. After the catch, he's elusive in space. He can make a guy miss. He's not this overly jukey guy. He's not going to break you out of your shoes, but he does have a subtle elusiveness. And perhaps more important, he's got a nice contact balance. He's got a low center of gravity. He runs low, and it oftentimes will take multiple ACC defenders to bring down Will Shipley. So Shipley, you're going to have to pay a little bit more of a premium. I do think that mid to late third round status probably a round 4, round 5 NFL draft selection. But if you're playing, like I said, even with a half point PPR format, I think Will Shipley could be a really nice target. Now, with our fourth running back here, second to last guy, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper because I know there are sickos out there, right? I know there are folks playing in 5-round drafts and 6-round drafts like me. If you're like me, you might be in a 16-round or 16-team 5-round rookie draft. I absolutely have some of those. And in those leagues, I'm targeting a guy nobody's talking about. Michael Wiley out of Arizona was sneakily a really nice player for the Wildcats this past year. Now, you look at the stats, 123 career receptions for Wiley. I consider him to really be a pass-catching threat first and a solid running back on the ground second. I like his 28 receptions in 2023 for 206 yards. I mentioned this with Shipley. We can bump up that threshold a little bit. There were 4 games where Michael Wiley had at least 5 receptions for the Wildcats in 2023, and he did miss a couple of games as well. So it was a nice chunk of the actual games he played. And in 2023, this past season, he had 5 receiving touchdowns. So Michael Wiley clearly can produce through the air. I talk about this all the time. You can get a lot of value drafting West Coast players, right? Pac-12, Mountain West guys, because they just don't get as much national attention, often playing much later. Now, when you do give him attention, when you do put Michael Wiley under the tape microscope, what you're going to see is you're going to see a running back with reliable hands in the flat, short, and midfield. They do extend him, even 10, 12 yards downfield to make him a real threat at multiple levels. He holds on very well through contact. He can take a pop. There's sticky hands. He's not going to drop the ball. Michael Wiley will line up as a legitimate wide receiver at times for the Arizona Wildcats. And when he does, he displays a really successful release. That's something I love about my wide receiver prospects when they get a nice release. And Wiley separates into some space right off the bat. What I like about him in particular is he gets to top speed quickly. That's something that's really nice when you're thinking about how a player can be effective in the short field. And then you're going to add in on top of that some nice lateral agility. So if you're looking for this episode, you're looking for that deep sleeper running back with a pass catching upside, my guy is going to be Michael Wiley. You're not going to have to take him in the first 48 picks, but as you get into round 5, round 6, or if you have a 4-round draft, make him a priority with those fab bids, once that opens after your draft. And now the last guy I want to mention does not get enough credit for his pass catching ability. He is somebody we're talking about. He is somebody who should be drafted in the first 48 picks of a rookie draft, superflex, or one quarterback. It's Dillon Johnson, the running back out of Washington. And I know that sounds counterintuitive because the full narrative on Dillon Johnson at Washington is that he's a power back. And that's primarily how the Huskies used him. But you have to understand, before he was playing for the Huskies, he was playing in Mike Leach's Mississippi State air raid offense, where he very much was an extension of the passing game. So with Dillon Johnson here, you're going to have 173 career receptions. Those 173 receptions are the most of any running back in this draft class. So Dillon Johnson, out of all guys, is the one heading into the NFL with the most career receptions from the running back position. In 2023, he had 24 receptions for 190 yards. That doesn't sound super exciting, but folks, context is everything. Michael Penix was slinging the rock to Rome Odunze, to Jalen McMillan, to Jalen Polk. It was a high-octane passing offense, and Dillon Johnson was still able to get his. Let's go back to 2021, his last season playing in the Mississippi State offense. 65 receptions that year for 422 receiving yards. He is absolutely a legitimate passing threat. Now, pairing with that nice box score here for Dillon Johnson is going to be some tape that does legitimately get you excited. You're going to see a player with good vision who feels space well. That helps him on the ground, but that also helps him after the catch. On the ground, he's a powerful runner. He barrels through defenders with reckless abandon. Quite frankly, the man has no care for his body. He will just throw himself at linebackers, and oftentimes he will power through them, finish forward through the end of the play. And he's scrappy. He's tenacious. He keeps those legs churning. He fights for extra yards, and that translates as well when he catches the ball. So there's some real yak potential there with Dillon Johnson. For him, you're probably going to be able to draft him, I think, in the 4th round of most rookie drafts. So you really have an opportunity for another late round target with Dillon Johnson. So there you have it, folks. 5 PPR threat running backs that I'll be targeting in my rookie drafts. Now, I will say there is another player who absolutely deserves to be in this conversation, but I'm saving him for the next video that's coming out. It's Dylan Lobby out of the University of New Hampshire. So you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed to the Rookie Big Board because you're going to want to see that video. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about these 5 sleeper targets, or if you have other guys you want to hear about, I'd be happy to drop some insight and advice in the comments. But if you want some real personalized insight and advice, head on over to patreon.com/rookiebigboard to get my rankings, the Discord, and that personalized advice. Oh, and the 2024 rookie guide, over 100 pages of in-depth rookie analysis. Thanks for watching, everybody.